70,000 pounds of ordnance per mission, delivered by an airframe nearly 80 years old. 10,000 targets struck across Iran. 8,000 combat flight hours logged. Operation Epic Fury has made the B-52 Stratofortress the centerpiece of a campaign spanning over 50,000 service members and launch points from England to Qatar. But the bombing isn't the objective. It's what comes after the skies are cleared. Inside the B-52's cavernous bomb bays and along its 16 external pylons, crews assemble a loadout that turns each sortie into a campaign of its own. Mission planners select a blend of JASM-ER standoff missiles and JDAM precision bombs, balancing the aircraft's 70,000 pounds of capacity with range and target demands. The JASM-ER, with its reach of nearly 1,100 nautical miles, is mounted on outer wing stations, ready to strike air defenses and command centers from beyond retaliation. Once the skies are stripped of threats, the internal bay opens to release JDAMs, 2,000-pound GPS-guided bombs, rippled in quick succession for maximum effect. Every weapon is assigned a target corridor, sequenced by computer and crew, with few settings dialed for impact or delay, depending on the structure below. Launching from RAF Fairford in the United Kingdom, or Al Udeid in Qatar, the B-52's full load means trade-offs, less internal fuel, and more reliance on aerial refueling. Tanker crews, KC-135s and KC-46s, form a moving lifeline, topping off the bomber at altitude so it can reach Iranian airspace, strike, and return. The choreography is precise. A single miscalculation can mean a missed target or a forced diversion. But with every mission, the B-52's logistics chain proves its endurance. Each sortie is a statement: distance, payload, and tempo fused into a relentless pressure campaign, shaping the battlefield for whatever comes next. Admiral Brad Cooper, standing at the CENTCOM podium, delivered the numbers that define the campaign's momentum. Our B-52 fleet is now executing continuous night strike rotations. Since February 28th, we have logged more than 8,000 combat flight hours and have struck nearly 2,000 high-value targets across Iran, including missile launch sites, command nodes, and naval assets. The next phase will integrate carrier-based aircraft from USS Abraham Lincoln to expand our reach into the Gulf of Oman. His words carried the weight of operational authority, each figure a measure of relentless effort. Over 50,000 American personnel are committed, sustaining a round-the-clock tempo that leaves no gap for adversary recovery. The 8,000-hour mark is not a projection, but a logged reality, reflecting a scale of air power rarely seen in modern conflict. Cooper's cadence is unambiguous. No adversary is too determined, no mission too difficult, and the systematic achievement of objectives is underway. The campaign's intensity is anchored not in speculation, but in the official record of hours flown and targets engaged. CENTCOM's video announcement on March 26 declared a milestone: more than 10,000 targets struck since the start of Operation Epic Fury. The claim, delivered as a single line in an official broadcast, set a new benchmark for scale. Yet, the underlying data tells a more complex story. The March fact sheet published days earlier listed nearly 2,000 targets engaged, and no written press release has surfaced to explain the sudden leap. Analysts tracking open-source intelligence note that CENTCOM's target count methodology counts every weapon released against a pre-designated objective, but the specifics for this campaign remain unpublished. The rapid acceleration from 2,000 to 10,000 targets in just 3 weeks raises questions about what qualifies as a target, especially as the campaign pivots to dispersed threats. Drone launch sites, camouflaged in orchards and barns, have become a priority, each counted as a separate strike. This shift favors quantity over mass, with B-52s and their supporting platforms sweeping wide to eliminate Iran's drone network node by node. The headline figure commands attention, but the true measure of battlefield pressure lies in the systematic hunt for these concealed assets. The milestone, while impressive, demands a closer look at the numbers behind it and the evolving nature of the targets themselves. Iranian state media broke into programming with claims of a US F-18 shot down over Chabahar, broadcasting grainy footage and triumphant headlines. Within hours, the story unraveled. Open-source analysts cross-checked the claim against ADS-B flight tracking data and civilian radar logs. No loss appeared in the real-time feeds, no sudden altitude drop, no missing aircraft, and no unexplained gaps in the digital record. Social media posts that initially amplified the story were quickly geolocated and timestamped, revealing recycled video from a previous year. CENTCOM's Public Affairs Office issued a direct denial, confirming that all U.S. aircraft were accounted for and that no fighter losses had occurred. Iranian outlets quietly retracted the story, but the episode illustrated the information battlefield running parallel to the kinetic one. In Operation Epic Fury, rumors meet a wall of digital transparency. The coalition's credibility rests not just on firepower, but on a toolkit of real-time verification, routing logs, satellite imagery, and forensic social media analysis, making it harder for adversaries to shape the narrative with unverified claims. At 0400 hours on March 26, coalition planners authorized a precision strike aimed at Iran's naval command structure. The target was Alarza Tangiri, a senior IRGC naval commander believed to be orchestrating fast boat swarms in the Strait of Hormuz. The operation was timed to coincide with a window of confirmed air superiority, as B-52s and supporting aircraft saturated the airspace with standoff munitions. According to Allied statements, the strike was carried out with a single GPS-guided JDAM, delivered after a JASM-ER salvo cleared the immediate area of radar and anti-air defenses. Within minutes, open channels in the Gulf reported a sudden halt in IRGC naval transmissions. Western intelligence agencies tracked the disruption in command traffic, and maritime insurers logged a measurable drop in threat alerts for commercial vessels transiting the Strait. While Israeli sources claimed responsibility for the decapitation, neither U.S. nor Israeli officials have released public confirmation of Tangiri's status. The ambiguity is deliberate. Leverage in ongoing diplomatic exchanges depends on the perception, not just the fact, of operational reach. For coalition planners, the message was clear. With every high-value target eliminated, the pressure on Tehran's negotiating position grows. Each precision kill is a bargaining chip, achieved not through mass destruction, but through the deliberate removal of those who shape Iran's maritime threat. Diplomatic channels opened quietly through Islamabad, carrying a 15-point ceasefire proposal from Washington to Tehran. The terms outlined conditional sanctions relief, monitored civilian nuclear concessions, and strict caps on missile launches, each point crafted to test Iran's willingness to negotiate under sustained pressure. Pakistani officials acting as intermediaries relayed the offer to Iranian authorities, emphasizing a window to de-escalate. Within hours, Iran's foreign ministry issued a public rejection, dismissing the proposal as one-sided and demanding reparations and security guarantees instead. The official statement, amplified across state media and social platforms, left little ambiguity about Tehran's stance. Coalition planners read the response as a signal that military pressure alone would not force a settlement. With the diplomatic track closed for now, force posture became the default language, each B-52 sortie and each target struck reinforcing the reality that battlefield dominance had not translated into political leverage. The refusal hardened positions on both sides, setting the stage for a campaign where escalation, not compromise, would define the next phase. On the tarmac at Al Udeid and aboard amphibious ships in the Gulf, 2,500 Marines stand ready, joined by 1,000 paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne. Their orders are clear. Remain on alert, prepared to move as soon as the air campaign opens a secure corridor. Aircraft and landing craft are staged for rapid embarkation, while Navy and Marine planners run continuous drills to reduce the risk of amphibious landings under fire. The force is not just waiting. They are rehearsing every scenario, from urban entry to desert assault. This layered posture signals more than deterrence. Overhead, the Lamprey underwater detection system, developed by Lockheed Martin, sweeps for submersible threats near key landing zones, feeding real-time data to command posts. With B-52s clearing fixed defenses and drone threats, the ground component stands positioned for immediate exploitation. The escalation ladder is visible, and every element is tuned for the possibility of a full-spectrum invasion. Coalition planners now face a crossroads defined by precision doctrine and the tightening grip of economic sanctions. The surge of fighter escorts, F-18 and F-35 fighters, circling above each B-52 sortie is not for show. Their presence enforces strict rules of engagement that demand every strike be justified and every weapon accounted for. Commanders have issued orders that distinguish these missions from the area bombings of past wars. Each target is selected for its strategic value, with real-time surveillance confirming its relevance before a missile leaves the wing. The legal framework is explicit. Every action must conform to international law, and any deviation risks undermining the coalition's legitimacy. Meanwhile, Treasury's sanctions teams monitor shipping manifests and financial flows, tightening the blockade on dual-use goods and missile components. The pressure is calibrated, military force and economic isolation working in tandem to force a decision in Tehran. Yet, as the operation expands, officials warn that hypothetical scenarios of mass destruction remain just that, hypothetical. The campaign's logic is relentless, but the choice it presents is unmistakable: precision or escalation, negotiation or continued isolation. Precision, scale, and overwhelming force. 10,000 targets, 70,000 pounds per mission, over 8,000 combat flight hours, and 50,000 U.S. personnel in motion. The B-52's dominance shapes the battlefield, clearing the way for decisive operations. Today, no adversary stands beyond reach. The tempo of pressure only intensifies.